Dana Gross. Let's give him a round of applause.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Okay, so my name is Dana, and I am a teacher. This story's not about that, though. This story, I'm a musician as well, and I've been passionate about music ever since I can remember having heard music. So the result of that is that I've followed my muse, such as it is, into lots of strange situations, and some of them have been what they were advertised to be, and some of them have not been what they were advertised to be. So I'll tell you about one of those. Just as an example, there were, very briefly, a couple situations, one of which was my band was asked to come play at the Portland's tenant union meeting, which we did because we were a young band starting out and we just wanted to get somewhere and play. And everyone was really confused when the meeting adjourned for a break and we came out to play like a 40-minute set. They were like, well, we're talking about renters' rights, and that was really confusing for everyone. Anyways, and after that set, I almost got elected to the board of the Portland Tenants Union, which I had to at some point say, you know what, I'm really not interested in being on the board of directors, but thank you, it's very flattering. That was one such situation. There was another one where I had made friends with this gentleman where at this I worked selling vegetables for a while, and he and I would chat a lot. He was a concert pianist, and so we would talk about music a lot. And he invited me to a music party. That's what he said. And so I went to his music party, and it started out as a dinner party, and it turned out it was actually an all-male social gathering without a lot of music playing, so it was another situation. But my story is about a different situation. I've got a friend named Sam who's also a musician, and he was one time busking at the farmer's market, and while he was busking, a gentleman came up and handed him a card that said American Real Music on it, and he said, yeah, I run this American Roots music jam, and I'd love for you to come. And Sam said, okay. And so he told me about it. He said, hey, you want to go to this thing? This guy gave me a card, and it's up in Brunswick, and it's on Friday night. And I was like, sure, let's go for it. Because that's, like an Americana roots music jam usually involves a bunch of people sitting around, and one of them will lead a song, and everyone else will play along with it, and then another person will lead a song, and et cetera. And it's a great way to learn songs. It's sort of a time-honored handed-down way to learn songs, and those are things I've been to and enjoyed a lot, so yeah, we decided, what the hell, let's go for it. And so we drove up to Brunswick on Friday night, and had the address, got to the house, which it was a house, and we walked in to the house, opened the door, and we walked directly into this sort of foyer entranceway, which is a little tight because we both had guitars, so we're both sort of jammed up into this entrance foyer, and one of us opened the door into the room, the main room where the American Real Music Jam was, and it wasn't situated such as a jam. It was more like it was sort of like this setup where they were folding chairs in a U, and the chairs came right up to the door where we opened, and there was someone sitting at the front like this, in between two stacks of speakers, performing, so it was more like an open mic. So we're like, oh, okay, well, it's an open mic then. And so we kind of got in as stealthily as we could and sat down and started looking around. It's pretty dim, just kind of scoping out the situation. And it just immediately, we were struck by the youth of everybody in the room. We were like, wow, this is really full of young people. And, we were probably late 20s at that point, so we weren't super old. And we were like, these are really young people here. And anyways, so we sat there, and the gentleman who had given Sam the card came over and was like, well, we'd like each of you to do 3 tunes. And so we did our 3 tunes, and that was great. And then after that, I don't know, maybe another performer or two did their 3 tunes, and then he's like, well, we'll open it up to just a big jam session now. But it really wasn't a big jam session. It was this one guy who was on leave from the Navy, and I think he might have been on leave from the Brunswick Naval Air Station, and who was really drunk. That's the other thing. Everyone kept offering us drinks. They're like, hey, you want a drink? And we weren't drinking, But this guy clearly had been drinking. And it was one of those situations where sometimes people get upset when you're not drinking if they are. And it was kind of like that. And again, these people seemed very, very young. And so anyways, I got up there and I decided just because, I was following my muse that I would jam with this guy. And so I got on the bass and he was playing the guitar. And he starts playing Hey Joe, which is, Hey Joe has a sort of, one of the characters is a misogynist who ends up killing his girlfriend because she's dating another man. And he's singing this song, and he's staring right at my friend who is sitting next to this guy's girlfriend. And he's totally drunk. And so that ends, and I think, all right, well, that's about as weird as this is going to get. And then the host comes over, and it's like, had a great time. Would you guys like to come outside? There's a little courtyard. So we're like, okay, sure, we'll come out, as I was smoking cigarettes at the time. And so I rolled a cigarette and went out through the kitchen, which reminded me of a hostel kitchen, not like hostile, but like a youth hostel kitchen where people had their different, there was 4 boxes of pasta and 3 jars of peanut butter all grouped together, So we walk through this kitchen out into the courtyard, and there are tables set up out in the courtyard. And I look at one of the tables and I'm like, is that the Dianetics book? It is the Dianetics book. And then there's other pamphlets. It's Scientology pamphlets. And I'm pretty sure that I had stumbled into what was advertised as an American Roots music jam session that was actually a Scientology recruitment night for young people. Thanks.